As a strength coach, you'll inevitably find yourself in situations where you'll be required to teach a movement or an exercise that you're not personally great at performing. That's okay, we all have our strengths and weaknesses and we're always learning and improving. Still, it is crucial to be able to teach those movements safely and effectively. And that's where having a few key points to focus on can make a big difference. Today, I will walk you through 3 important points to look after when teaching the squat. Some of you may remember I did a similar video a few months ago on the bench press. Today we're shifting the focus to the squat, a foundational but relatively complex movement. It is one of the most effective tools to build lower body strength, power and mobility, and it transfers well to nearly all sports. However, it also places stress on certain joints and tissues, so having a solid understanding of the technique is important to keep your athletes safe. So, whether you're still learning how to teach the squat or if you simply want to refine your approach, here are 3 key points to look after, alongside with some corrective cues to help you address each one. The first issue is the infamous butt wink, an unintentional posterior pelvic tilt usually occurring at the bottom of the squat. In simple terms, the lower back starts to round under as the athlete reaches depth. This usually shows up more in athletes whose sports involve deep squatting positions. The key word here is unintentional. When an athlete loses control over a body part during a movement, this increases the risk of injury. The butt wink typically happens when an athlete tries to squat deeper than his mobility allows, usually in the hips and ankles, causing the pelvis to tuck under in an effort to maintain balance. If ankle mobility is limited, the knees can't travel forward enough, forcing the hips to shift back. This increases forward torso lean, and unless the pelvic tucks to compensate, the athlete may lose balance. To spot a butt wink, observe your athlete from the side. If it's present, first reduce the depth to avoid excessive rounding. Then assess ankle mobility. If it's limited, implement some mobility work while allowing them to squat with a slight heel elevation like weightlifting shoes or small plates under the heels while developing mobility on the side. However, be mindful. Some ankle stiffness can be beneficial in certain sports. The key is to find the right balance for your athlete's need. And remember, this issue, just like all the other ones I will talk about today, is not catastrophic. A small deviation is not an automatic injury risk, so if you spot one, don't panic. Next up, hip shift and pelvic rotation. This refers to a lateral movement of the hips or an asymmetrical rotation during the squat. If an athlete keeps shifting his hips to one side or rotating during the movement, it usually points to a strength imbalance or a mobility restriction. To spot it, watch your athletes from the back. First, check their setup. Is the bar centered on their back? Are they standing evenly before starting the descent? Then, when exactly does the shift happen? Relatively early in the squat or only at the bottom? This timing can help guide your intervention. Another important factor is hip opening. From a back or front view, check whether both legs externally rotate equally. If one flares outward and not the other one, the hips might have to compensate, leading to asymmetry and potential stress. In this situation, assessing and addressing both internal and external rotation may solve the issue. The third and final issue is knee cave, when one or both knees collapse inward during a squat, especially during the ascent. While some minor deviations under maximal load is not unusual, excessive or repeated knee caves, especially at lighter loads or despite conscious efforts to prevent it, might need attention. You can observe this best from the front or eventually from the back. Most of the time, the root cause is weakness in the hip abductors. Reinforcing those muscles can help reduce knee cave. Perform pre- and post-testing to track improvements and make sure both sides work evenly. It's also worth noting that unilateral knee cave can lead to hip shift, which means you may have to deal with both problems at the same time. But no worry! No matter the problem, follow a consistent corrective strategy. 1. Identify the problematic part of the range of motion. If pain is present, adjust, reduce, or eventually remove the painful movement, but don't automatically suppress every discomfort unless necessary. 2. Diagnose the root cause. Is it a mobility issue, a strength deficit, a poor motor control, a lack of proprioception, for example? 3. Address the problem through targeted corrective work. 4. Test regularly to objectively measure progress and adjust as needed. 5. Reintroduce the original movement gradually, following progressive milestones or validation steps to ensure the pattern is improving without aggravating. By following these principles, you should be able to teach the squat in a safe and effective way, even if you're still developing your skill on this movement. Keep learning, keep practicing, and keep gaining experience. It will pay off for both you and your athletes. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, suggestions, or anything else, feel free to drop a comment down below, and if you want to contact me straight through my social medias, the links are in the description. I'll see you next Sunday, and until then, train hard, stay consistent, and never forget, make yourself proud.